Hello and welcome to the third episode of the top single player games of 2022 and 2023. Now, if you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. And also, these games aren't in any particular order, so if you want to go ahead and check out the previous two videos that I made, I'll have a link to those down in the description below. But with that being said, I hope you guys join me for today's video with your coffee or beverage of choice. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Cheers, everyone.
We burned paradise. We lit the fire and fled. But death followed, hidden in our blood.
Now, the first game in our list is a game called Forever Skies. Right off the bat, the most immediate thing you notice about this game is its gorgeous graphics and beautiful settings. And this game is going to cater towards those of you who are into action survival games. We also have other interesting tags for this game, including base building, sandbox exploration, open world survival craft, inventory management, procedural generation, first-person shooters, and much more. Now, there is an early access version of this game if you want to go ahead and check it out. Now, admittedly, the premise of the game is a little bit depressing, but still really interesting nonetheless. As it says here, that Forever Skies is a first-person action survival game. Return to Earth, destroyed by an ecological disaster, fly a high-tech airship, expand, rebuild and repair it, scavenge resources to survive, face the dangers of the surface, as well as hunt for viral pathogens to cure a mysterious illness. Now, I know the next game that we have here is going to excite a lot of you because this game has a huge cult following. And it says here from PCGamer.com, Dead Space Remake, everything we know about the revamped sci-fi horror classic. Now, I did label this game for a release date of 2023 because from what I could read so far, it doesn't seem like EA is confident enough to actually give it a 2022 release. And the thing on everybody's mind is, well, how will this compare to the original Dead Space game? And it's actually a true remake, as it says here, that the game is being rebuilt from scratch in the Frostbite engine. So it really is a remake in the truest sense, but in that same spirit as other modern remakes such as Resident Evil 2 and Final Fantasy 7, it won't be a perfect one-to-one. Rather, it will be adapted to suit more modern sensibilities, and it will also harken to the events of Dead Space 2 and 3, games that didn't exist when the original was released.
Venture into these shattered halls, seeking lost glory. And for what?
Now, the next game in our list is Alterborn, and the reason why I wanted to include it here is because, well, it has a Souls-like tag with this particular game, and we all know that Souls-like games has been probably getting more popularity ever since the juggernaut that is Elden Ring. But what sets this game apart from all the other Souls-like games is that it actually has the looter shooter tag too. So yeah, I don't know, picture something like Dark Souls marries Elden Ring, marries the Borderlands series. Yeah, I don't know, but it does sound like a really interesting and fun game to play. Apparently, it will also be a really funny game as well because it also has dark humor and dark comedy as tags. It does make me curious what kind of writing team is behind this game. Wonder if we'll just get a bunch of dad jokes or if they're legitimately funny. But anyways, we also have other tags that include post-apocalyptic, roguelike, shooter, third-person shooter, action RPG, and many more.
Look at them. So fragile. Do doomed from the start of their hopeless pursuit. You gazed upon others that shared your fate. And yet, like a moth to the flame, you still push forth.
I'm running out of fuel.
Great, man. Awesome.
We'll look around here, I guess.
Shall we split up?
Yep.
I'll find out what's in the skyscraper.
Next, we got the game called The Day Before, and this is easily one of my top 3 personal games that I'm looking forward to the most. But you might be wondering to yourself, why would I include this game in a single player category when it's describing itself as an MMO survival? Well, I'm glad you asked, because apparently you could actually turn off online mode for this game, so you could play this game completely offline, thus making you kind of wonder if it's really an MMO in the first place. I mean, we've seen this happen before with other games in the past, such as Hellgate London, but anyways, we could discuss that for a later video. At the end of the day, it still looks like a very fun game to play, especially if you're into the whole zombie post-apocalyptic survival third-person shooters. I mean, it looks very similar to the way you play The Division as well, which isn't necessarily a bad thing in my opinion. Also, easily one of the most beautiful looking games that I have on this list so far, and we also have other interesting titles including open world survival, combat, base building, realistic, and even free to play. A free to play game that you can play offline. I don't think I've ever heard that one before, but anyways. Now, next on our list, we got Samurai Simulator, and this also has the Souls-like tag as well. I don't know why, but I'm thinking of the game Sekiro for some reason, even though that's a completely different game, but anyways. And really quick, it says in its description, venture on the way of the samurai, fight epic battles, serve your dynamo, defend your honor, and train followers of the Samurai Simulator, the first ever feudal Japan life simulation game on Steam. Other tags include Ninja, so I guess you don't have to be that honorable. It also has stealth, adventure, third person, excuse me, violent, open world, dark fantasy, hack and slash, gore, and again, Souls-like, like I mentioned before.
Warning, hostile signal detected. Warning, hostile signal detected.
Guys, I just found out about this game thanks to a PCGamer.com article, and I'm trying not to get too hyped, but I am, because the game looks so amazing and everything that it's trying to do, I've never I can't even talk. Now, this game is called Outpost, and it's a working title, so assume that it's going to change its name again sometime in the near future. But yeah, this game includes all the aspects of different genres, including first-person shooters, RTS or real-time strategy, tower defense, base building, survival, real-time tactics, single player obviously, but also multiplayer, so you can play with your friends, military, futuristic, sci-fi, strategy. I'm telling you, if this game looks as good as that trailer, this could easily be one of the most anticipated games in my book, just because it looks so amazing in terms of what you're able to do, what you're able to just basically the huge amount of ordinances in the game. Yeah, I'm really hoping that this game takes off, just because I don't think I've ever played anything like this before. I know a few years ago there was an MMO that tried to also be an RTS game. I can't even remember what that MMO was, and I mean, no one's really talking about that game anymore. But anyways, this game has the potential to be a true game changer. And yeah, I'm very excited, as you can tell.
Warning. Core damage. Warning. Core damage.
It could do much more than dance.
Angel of Death, descended from the heavens to vanquish the clockwork tyrant. You're just as they describe. These machines feed on the dead. The greater the massacre, the deeper the river where they slake their thirst.
So Steelrising is one of those games that I'm looking forward to because of the fact that it looks very Victorian, even though it's not technically Victorian because I'm a huge normie when it comes to these things at the end of the day. We're getting a lot of steampunk vibes off of this one, along with its sort of dark fantasy as well, kind of meshed in together, which is really interesting. But oddly enough, steampunk isn't a tag here, but you also have the Souls-like tag, again, because I think because of the popularity of the Elden Ring, we're going to get a lot of games with that tag, especially for this and next year. We also have other tags including difficult, action RPG, female protagonist, violent, dark, atmospheric, adventure, RPG. And what's really cool about this game is that it's very similar to the Fallout series in a sense that it takes place in an alternate timeline where a lot of the things that you see in this game takes place in the future, but also in the past. It's Paris back in 1789, and the revolution has been suppressed by, or with bloodshed rather, by Louis XVI and his merciless mechanical army.
Join your ancestors.
Next in our list, we got a game here called Illusion Lands, and this game is going to cater more towards to those of you who like hack and slash games. Other tags include dark fantasy, action adventure, exploration, action RPG, combat, story rich, action roguelike, so you're going to be playing a very difficult game, I'd assume, dragons, magic, and many more. Now, I'm not somebody who typically enjoys indie games, generally speaking, because I've backed so many indie MMOs in the past and they just never panned out. They ended up being just complete trash, for lack of a better term. But I'll admit, even though this is not an MMO, this is the first indie game that I've seen in a while where it actually did pique my curiosity.
Their souls to me.
Next, we got none other than God of War Ragnarok on this list. And yes, this will be a direct sequel from the 2018's title, God of War, that was recently ported over to the PC about 2 or 3 months ago. Now, in terms of the most recent news, we have this one here from GameRant.com, and it says here that God of War Ragnarok May 2022 trailer rumor breakdown. So apparently there was this trailer that showcased some of the new things in the upcoming God of War Ragnarok, game that was recorded by with somebody holding up a phone. But all in all, after reading this article, they conclude that this is most likely a fake if you want to go ahead and search it yourself. And we do have a little bit of that here in this little tweet that you could see. Now, we've been seeing a trend where a lot of these console exclusives being ported over to the PC, such as Final Fantasy Remake.
Lance, who's dead.
Well, for a dead man, Odin seemed pretty keen on seeing he wasn't found.
If he's out there, we gotta find him.
Come in.
What in all yarns be the happened to him?
We're trying to stop Ragnarok.
Ну, давай, малюй картину маслом.
Now the last game, but certainly not the least in the list of games for single player games, is none other than S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 Heart of Chernobyl. This might go without saying, but this game is being developed by a Ukrainian company, and we all know what's going on over there, so whether or not they're able to meet the December 8th deadline is kind of questionable in my opinion, but I'm really hoping that things just generally get better. Like, who cares about that release date? Let's just hope that everything does get situated over there. Now, this is a game that probably doesn't need an introduction, but some of the tags that are included in this game are atmospheric, exploration, non-linear, post-apocalyptic, that probably would be without saying, but we also have multiple endings, choices matter, RPG, and even immersive sim. Easily, again, top 3, at least top 5 games that I'm personally anticipating for. Been a huge fan of this game ever since I bought the original boxed copy of the game back when boxed copies were still a thing. I mean, I guess they still are, but not really.
В зоне вроде примелькалось уже, а каждый день удивляет.
Зона надоесть не может. Говорят, ты знаешь, где вход в фундамент.
And really quick before I let you guys go, again, this is a list that is not in any particular order, so if you want to go ahead and check out the other 2 videos that I have for the most anticipated single player games of 2022 and 2023, I'll have a link to those down in the description below, or a form of a card here. Yeah, here, if you want to go ahead and check that out. But anyways, everyone, I will finally let you guys go. Hope you guys have a blessed night, and I will talk to you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.